What if one day, humanity started turning into animals, and the person you loved most slowly became something unrecognizable? The movie begins in the middle of a traffic jam. Inside a car, tension brews between a teenage boy named Emile and his father, Francois. They argue over being late, voices rising until Emile bursts out of the car. Francois follows, trying to calm him down. But then, an ambulance nearby begins shaking violently. Screams echo from inside before the glass shatters, and a horrifying figure bursts out. A half-man, half-bird creature. Chaos erupts. Security officers rush to capture it, but it fights them off, flinging men aside before escaping into the distance as the father and son watch in stunned silence. Later, Francois and Emile arrive at the hospital to visit someone important. Emile's mother, Lana. She's one of many people across the country who've started mutating into animal-like hybrids. Doctors don't understand why. The government has built containment centers, sedating and locking the mutants away as society grows more terrified of them. Emile doesn't want to see his mother after she once scratched his face, but Francois insists she's still family. A doctor explains Lana will soon be moved to a new, better-equipped facility in the south, and Francois agrees. He hopes to start over there, somewhere people don't know what's happened to his wife. When they visit her, the room is covered in claw marks. Emile stands frozen at the door, terrified, while Francois sits beside her, speaking softly as if his words might reach whatever humanity she has left. But she barely reacts, trapped between worlds. Weeks later, father and son move to their new home, a quiet house by the forest. Emile starts a new school, trying to hide his past. When asked about his mother, he lies, saying she's dead and that lightning caused his scar. That night, a storm rolls in. Wind howls, thunder crashes, and when Emile looks out his window, he sees something. An eerie silhouette with glowing eyes peering inside. As soon as the power returns, it's gone. The next morning, they're called to a nearby lake. Police and firefighters crowd the shore where an ambulance lies submerged. Francois' heart sinks. It's the same transport moving Lana and other mutants. Some are dead, others missing. When officers pull a body from the water, he screams for his wife. Julia, a kind police officer, tells him they haven't found Lana's body, meaning she might still be alive somewhere in the forest. That faint hope keeps him going. Francois begins hanging Lana's clothes around the forest, hoping her instincts might lead her home. Meanwhile, at school, Emile discovers something strange about himself. During gym class, he single-handedly wins a tug-of-war match against an entire team, shocking everyone. But later that day, he notices something sharp growing under his fingernails. He locks himself in the bathroom, grabs tweezers and pulls, screaming as small claws tear through his skin. His back contorts, his spine shifting. Panic sets in. Emile realizes he's becoming like the creatures everyone fears. Elsewhere, Francois meets Julia again. She tells him the search for Lana has stopped. The army is taking over. Suddenly, screams echo through a nearby mall. A mutant has appeared. Francois races toward the commotion, praying it's Lana, but it's a squid-like woman raiding a seafood section. Julia chases her through aisles, tackling her as chaos unfolds. Francois spots another terrified creature hiding under a shelf and quietly lets it go. Days later, Emile attends a party hoping for normalcy, but as he drinks, his body betrays him. When Nina, a kind girl from class, offers medicine, he instinctively licks her hand instead of taking it. Horrified, everyone stares. Emile runs into the woods, ashamed, his mind foggy. When he wakes by the lake at dawn, his mouth tastes of blood. He spits out feathers, realizing he's eaten a bird. He hides his secret as he joins Francois in the forest to search for Lana. Emile asks if his father ever felt fear when she began changing. Francois shakes his head. She was still your mother, he says, just different. That night, they drive through the woods, playing Lana's favorite song loud, hoping she'll hear it. They fall asleep in the car, but in the morning, Emile's nails have changed again. Suddenly, their dog darts off. Emile follows, finding a chameleon-like child on a tree. Then the birdman from before swoops down, attacking him. Claws rip his shoulder open until their eyes meet, and the creature hesitates, sensing Emile is one of them. Francois rushes in, dragging his son away as the creature retreats. They rush to a hospital, but Emile refuses to go inside. They argue, nearly crashing into a horse as they pass a riding school crawling with police. Julia helps them again, getting Emile patched up by an army nurse who believes the story that a dog bit him. That night, Emile rips out his stitches and licks the wound, disgusted yet unable to stop himself. At school the next day, he sees Nina wearing a necklace with a small feather, the same kind he coughed up. She explains she found a dead bird on her doorstep after the party and kept its feather as a charm. Emile realizes with horror he left it for her. Later, he catches a fish barehanded and offers it to the birdman, who now calls himself Fix. The man remembers little of his past. Emile helps him train to fly, clearing branches from the lake so he can practice. Despite constant failure, Fix never gives up. Over time, the two form an unlikely friendship. Creature and boy, both caught between worlds. Meanwhile, Francois is struggling. His boss begins selling anti-mutant shirts, and the hatred disgusts him. One night, he's attacked by a chained mutant behind the bar. A coworker admits it's her relative, hiding in secret. The creature panics, bursting into the bar and terrifying everyone. In the chaos, Francois glimpses another creature running away, a massive bear. His heart stops. It's Lana. She growls softly before disappearing into the trees. At school, Emile's changes worsen. He spits out a tooth, his body aching as new instincts take over. When he visits Fix again, he discovers crude scars where doctors once tried to remove the man's beak. Fix can barely speak anymore, only chirp. Still, they sit together in silence, sharing quiet understanding. That night, Francois and Julia search the forest again, but only find Emile's abandoned bike. Back home, Francois unclogs the sink and finds hair, feathers, and claws. The truth crushes him. His son is changing. When Emile returns, Francois confronts him, locking the door until he confesses. Emile denies it, panicked, and tries to flee. Francois grabs him, holding him tightly as they both break down. Father and son, united by fear and love. The next morning, Francois no longer hides from the truth. He helps Emile adapt, trimming his nails, hiding his ears, teaching him to control his urges. A father's devotion, stronger than any horror. One night, Emile talks to Nina over the phone and asks her to scream. When she does, miles away, he hears it clearly. His new abilities both terrify and fascinate him. Days later, Fix finally flies. Emile watches in awe as his friend soars through the sky, free at last. But joy is short-lived. At the local festival, Francois finds Emile in the crowd and panics. They argue again until Emile snaps, biting his father's shoulder. Horrified by what he's done, he runs off and meets Nina. She leads him to the cornfields, and under the stars, they share a tender moment. She sees his transformed back, his hair, his claws, and accepts him anyway. But their peace is shattered when a classmate taunts Emile with a high-pitched animal repellent. The sound pierces his head. In agony, Emile attacks, scratching the boy's face. The festival descends into chaos. Hunters grab their guns as Emile flees through the fields. Fix swoops down to protect him, killing a hunter, but a bullet strikes him mid-flight. Emile holds him in his arms as he dies, the boy's only friend, gone. By morning, Francois finds Fix's body, but Emile is missing. Alone in the forest, Emile survives on fruit, howling with the other creatures at night. During a storm, he hides in a cave, where a bear approaches. It's Lana. They touch foreheads in recognition. She leads him to a hidden refuge deep in the woods, where mutants live peacefully together. For a fleeting moment, Emile sees harmony, a new world taking shape. Then flares light up the sky. The army has found them. Sonic weapons blare, crippling the creatures. Emile watches as his mother and the others collapse in pain. Only the chameleon girl manages to escape, camouflaging into the trees. Later, Francois helps Emile escape custody by lying to the police, claiming he was just lost in the woods. But when Emile tries to sign his release, his clawed hand tears the paper. A growl escapes his throat. The officer panics, reaching for his gun, until Francois knocks him out and forges the signature himself. They flee in the car as sirens roar behind them. Francois grips the wheel, eyes filled with tears. "I won't let them take you," he says. They burst through a fence into the forest. Francois stops the car and looks at his son one last time. "Run!" Emile steps into the misty woods, turns back for a moment, then disappears into the wild. His howl echoes through the forest, answered by dozens of others. He's no longer human, no longer hiding. He's free. If someone you loved was slowly transforming into something else, half human, half beast, would you try to save them or let them go? Tell me in the comments below. And that was The Animal Kingdom, a breathtaking and emotional story of mutation, fear, and love that refuses to die. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button, subscribe for more cinematic breakdowns, and share your thoughts below. Would you survive in a world like this? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.